The H-1B visa connects global talent with special industries in America, especially in tech, engineering, and medicine. It's more than just a work permit. It's a sign of America's dedication to new ideas and different cultures. The H-4 visa keeps families together, letting the spouses and children of H-1B holders live in the U.S. Some H-4 holders can now work, helping families fit in and add to the economy. These visas help local economies grow and create jobs, making them super important for America's economic foundation. Sudden changes to these programs don't just mess up careers, but also the new ideas and growth they support. On September 19, 2025, former President Trump surprised the business world and immigrant communities by announcing a new $100,000 fee for every new H-1B visa application. This announcement came out of nowhere, with little warning, and immediately sparked heated debates across the United States and internationally. This policy took effect just 2 days after the announcement, giving companies and potential workers very little time to adjust to such a big change. These new rules hit all new H-1B applications, even transfers between companies, affecting almost everyone who wanted to work in the United States through this path. However, there was an exception for current H-1B holders who didn't need a new visa, so they didn't have to pay this extra fee. The government said the main goal of this policy was to protect jobs for Americans and reduce reliance on foreign workers. By sharply raising the cost, the government hoped that only the most skilled and needed foreign workers would be hired by American companies. But critics argued that such a high fee was a huge barrier, especially for startups, nonprofits, and universities, which often don't have as much money as big corporations. As a result, this system was seen as only helping the wealthiest companies that could afford the high fees, while others were left out. Many believed that the rush to implement it and the huge fee showed that this policy wasn't just a reform, but an attempt to drastically limit skilled worker immigration. Many workers and companies now face uncertainty, with some even having to cancel expansion plans or hiring foreign talent. With the policy set to last for 1 year, many predict that the coming year will be filled with uncertainty, administrative chaos, and the potential loss of global talent that the United States desperately needs. The announcement caused immediate panic in American companies. Within minutes, emails and instant messages full of worry started going around among employees, managers, and HR teams. Many wondered, what did these changes mean for their future? Uncertainty filled the office spaces and a tense mood was felt everywhere. Microsoft quickly told all H-1B and H-4 employees who were outside the U.S. to come back before the deadline to avoid the new fee. This message came with a sense of urgency, as if time was truly running out. Many employees who were on business trips or vacations had to quickly change their plans, book flights home, and leave everything unfinished. Those in the U.S. were told not to travel abroad because coming back in could trigger huge fees. Even short trips for family or work now became a big risk. Many canceled tickets, put off important meetings, and held back from going abroad to keep their visa status safe. The advice turned vacations and work trips into a frantic race to get back to U.S. soil. Airports were filled with professionals and families rushing home, afraid of being stuck abroad and losing their jobs or permission to stay. The atmosphere at the airport was full of worry and uncertainty. For many, a simple trip abroad now put their careers and family stability at risk. Kids wondered why they had to come home early, while parents struggled to calm their families' worries. Every travel decision now had to be thought about very carefully. Microsoft's reaction showed how deeply global movement is tied into business operations. Big companies really depend on international employees moving across countries, and sudden changes like this can mess up the whole global work chain. The chaos showed the real impact of sudden immigration changes on companies and families. Behind the numbers and policies, there were people who had to adapt quickly, rearrange their lives, and face uncertainty they had never felt before. J.P. Morgan Chase recently echoed a warning that Microsoft had put out earlier. This shows the growing worries among big companies in the United States. They specifically pointed out the risks faced by H-1B and H-4 visa holders, many of whom are skilled professionals and their families who have built lives in America. J.P. Morgan urged these visa holders to stay in the United States and avoid international travel, even for urgent family matters. This ban wasn't just advice. Many worried that if they left the country, they might not be able to come back, leaving their jobs, homes, and futures uncertain. These new rules threatened to tear families apart, forcing them to make really tough choices. Many families now had to choose between staying together in America or risking being separated from loved ones abroad. Even regular trips, like visiting family, going to important celebrations, or simply taking care of sick parents, became a high-stakes gamble. Many had to put off plans, hold back their longing, and hope things would get better soon. Travel that used to be simple was now full of uncertainty. Even urgent needs, like getting medical care abroad, could become impossible, adding to the mental and emotional stress for families. Families faced huge emotional and money problems. They had to think about extra costs, possibly losing their jobs, and an unsure future, all while worrying about being separated. Many were forced to scramble for last-minute flights, cancel long-made plans, and adjust their lives in a hurry. All of this happened with no idea when things would get better. The sudden change in policy made families feel trapped, like their lives were controlled by forces they couldn't do anything about. Many felt like they had lost control over their own future. Homes became messy, future plans were put on hold, and the sense of safety they had built slowly disappeared, all because of sudden and unexpected changes in policy. For kids still in school and couples with job commitments, this disruption felt really hard. Daily routines were messed up, education was at risk, and family relationships were tested by distance and time. The advice from big companies like J.P. Morgan shows how vulnerable immigrant families are to policy changes. They always have to be ready for uncertainty, adapt quickly, and hope for the best for their future in a foreign land. Indian professionals, who make up over 70% of H-1B recipients, were hit hardest by these new rules. Big Indian IT companies like TCS, Infosys, and Wipro rely on the H-1B program to place skilled workers in the U.S. The $100,000 fee threatened their business model and the dreams of thousands of Indian engineers and students. The policy felt like a direct attack, treating Indian talent as a problem rather than a benefit. For many, the American dream was now out of reach, pushing skilled workers to consider more welcoming countries. The rule sent a clear message: the U.S. was no longer as friendly to global talent. Other countries were ready to take advantage of America's step back. The tech industry responded with quick and united anger. Leaders warned that the fees would stop new ideas and make the U.S. less able to compete. Startups and small businesses, who couldn't afford the fees, would lose out on the best talent. The stock prices of big tech companies dropped, showing fear of losing business and skilled workers. Industry groups started getting ready for legal fights and trying to influence lawmakers, saying the policy was bad for the economy. This move, they said, hurt America's image as a top spot for skilled people from all over the world. The two-day deadline sent families and workers scrambling, with many unable to return in time. Booking last-minute international flights was almost impossible, especially for those in remote areas or with children. The policy turned travel schedules into a matter of fate, with some locked out simply due to time. Critics saw the deadline as a deliberate tactic to reduce foreign workers through logistical hurdles. The result? Chaos, distress, and families stranded far from their homes and jobs. The harshness of the deadline highlighted the human cost of sudden policy changes. The official reason for all this was to protect American jobs and bring in more money. Commerce Secretary Lutnick claimed the fees would stop low-wage workers from coming in and bring in $100 billion for the government. But critics argued that H-1B workers already met wage requirements and filled important job openings where there weren't enough skilled people. They said the policy treated talented people like products and turned immigration into a way to make money. Instead of protecting jobs, it risked pushing companies and those jobs to other countries. Many saw the fees as a hidden way to limit skilled immigration, no matter what it might do to the economy. This $100,000 H-1B fee marks a big turning point for skilled immigration in the U.S. If it stays, it could cause a brain drain in reverse, sending talented people to countries that are more welcoming. Legal fights and political lobbying are already happening, and no one knows what will happen with this policy. This move is part of a bigger trend of making immigration rules tougher. America now has a choice: build walls or keep being a magnet for smart people from all over the world. What happens next will shape America's economy and its place in the world.